First-time Grand Finalist. This is special.
Looked quite calm, looked quite relaxed, was obviously very happy with his victory before. I think he's ready, Maynard. I think he's ready to give it his absolute best. He's been waiting for it so long, and he's finally here. I doubt very much he's nervous as well. The top left here, the overwhelming favorite, but can he do it again? This is NC Sports' Cyril. You said that Cyril made a nice and feisty tweet right before entering this grand final. Business as usual. You know, if there are certain players, you could be like, wow, that's a bit arrogant, or, you know, like, why would you say such a thing? But nobody could ever say that about Cyril, because that's kind of what it is for now by him, right? He shows up, he does his thing. And, you know, a lot of players, guys, it's really cool when you go to one of these events, because after somebody wins a big series, a quarterfinal, a semifinal, you see they're happy, they're pacing a little bit, right? They're walking around, wondering who they should talk to. And if you see Cyril after winning a semifinal, he sits there, leans towards the table, takes a bite out of his apple. Like, you know, it's just actually another day at the office. None of this phases him. None of this stresses him out. Maybe deep down inside, but he's really good at hiding it if that's the case, because he just seems so relaxed. I think most of us, Maynard, are way more stressed out for any ladder game than Cyril is for a grand final game. Yeah, I don't think he's breaking a sweat. And honestly, I don't think that Puppy is either. Juan over here in the top right, the guys mentioned it. He is a veteran. Yes, he hasn't been in a grand final, but he's been on stage, and it's another game of StarCraft for him, another series. And it is really cool, right? I said this on the desk before that, you know, if you do finally take that first title, make it extra special. Beat the guy that nobody else is beating in those grand finals, right? He wins 4 WCS tournaments last year, wants to make it his 5th. Well, this is it, you know. If you want to give you a trophy, a little extra shine, then this is the one to win. Cyril keeping that drone safe for a little bit before grabbing that third. Reaper pressuring this natural, just getting a little bit of scouting information, maybe a lane kill or 2 if he can, but flawless defense so far for Cyril. Yes, obviously the boys on the desk mentioned Battle Mech quite a bit. Of course, you know, we're talking about those Cyclones. We're going to see a lot of them. We know that's special in the past. Wow, that's fast. Yeah, this is a very TY build here. Woo! This does usually lead into Battle Mech, though, with that fast third CC, lots of gas income, lots of mineral income, plenty of production. And of course, with Battle Mech, we're talking mostly about the Cyclones, but a lot of Hellions as well, and often very, well, at least a very decent count of Banshees. I don't want to say mass Banshees, because that's maybe a bit over the top, but there's a good chance we're going to see a lot of those. Cyril has shown us a lot of different things in the past of how he wants to deal with it. We know that he struggled a little bit with it when Hero Marine did it against him in WCS Winter, but he also said he's been working on it, and I think he's going to be ready for it. And on top of that, Maynard, especially the games that have been played on this stage when it comes to TVZ, almost every game has been Battle Mech. Like, there have been plenty of bio games in this tournament, guys, don't get me wrong. Utermo played a lot of bio against Lambo and stuff like that, but especially when they're sitting on this stage, I don't know what it is, man. There must be a Cyclone underneath that desk or something, but they're loving it, Maynard. Wow, that's a fast fusion core as well. 3cc and super fast fusion core. This has to be range lib, right? I think you're spot. I mean, yeah, with Battlecruiser going 3cc this fast, I mean, we have seen plenty of Battlecruiser openings as well, but this is, I would say, a reasonable map for Range Liberator, so I think you're onto something. Yeah, possibly. Reaper getting pushed back from the middle of the map here from those Speedlings. His time on the map is kind of up now that the Speedlings are done, and they're coming down to the Terran side of the map. Cyril doesn't really have a ton of information on the special side of the map here. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Cyril does have an Overlord on the left side of Special's main base, but he doesn't seem like he's even thinking about sending it in. He's like, no, I don't like to sacrifice my Overlords. It's looking more and more like Battlecruiser here. Special starts to bank up quite a few resources. There it is. It's funny, right? Because he's obviously playing a super economic game, but at the same time, he's stacking up to the highest tier unit in the game. We do still see a little bit of that range lip that you mentioned, though, and especially in the later phase of the game, it could be incredibly powerful. That's kind of how Hero Marine was able to steal that one victory. A Baneling Nest already being thrown down for Cyril. Yeah, I mean, this could mean a couple things, defensive and offensive. Couple utilities options there for that Baneling tech. Hellions get spotted here, and Special's natural looks rather vulnerable, actually. Apart from the Hellions, you could actually, if you were Cyril and you wanted to get aggressive, probably do a lot of damage. We're seeing nothing but drones here from Cyril. Catches the Reaper, gets rid of him.
The crowd is very happy about it.
They're like, first blood, finally.
First blood.
We've been waiting 5.5 minutes, okay. I must say, though, I was truly blown away by the way that Serral defended the battlecruiser opening that Time went for on King's Cove. He made it look so easy. He legitimately lost like 2 drones at a certain phase when he had to deal with 2-3 battlecruisers and multiple Hellions. The way he split up his links. It is important, though, to keep that link count alive because you want to use those links defensively. The Queens, they can take care of the battlecruiser, but you have to be sure that you have a couple of defensive banelings to potentially deal with those Hellions or at least scare those Hellions from committing, right?
There's the BC in the main base, and Serral does not look ready for this. He's bringing in those Queens to defend against the BC. Pulls the drones back. Oh, he's reading them like a book here, bringing in those extra Queens down on the edge of that creep, pushing him back off the precipice of it here. 1 Queen goes down. That's a nice pick-off so far for the BC. Another drone. 2 drones in total.
This is already a much more successful opening with this BC than that Time had on King's Cove. He got the Queen, and it's really nice, right? Because every Queen you pick off, that means that Queen is not regenerating energy, and that means a couple of less transfusions down the road, and of course less creep tumors as well. And that is also important to keep in check when you play against Serral. And Special did not decide to do anything super crazy with his Hellions. He's like, you know what, if you're dealing with my BC with only 2 or 3 Queens, then I'll just make sure that I'll keep my Hellions at home because I know you have plenty of Hellions to defend my, or excuse me, plenty of Queens to defend my Hellions.
And we're seeing Neural Parasite here, Roddy. That's a stylish way to deal with battlecruisers. Not one of the greatest ways because you can lose Infestors pretty quickly, but Neural will make sure that BC is dead. They'll take that BC, use its tactical jump, or even just send it into a Spore Crawler forest with a bunch of Queens waiting for it.
Still getting on pretty much all the upgrades as well, right? Carapace already done for Serral. Now he's working on +1 melee. He's getting +1 range attack. So Serral definitely does not seem to be in a hurry. 2 battlecruisers at this point teleporting into the main base. Not exactly sure where the Queens are. A couple of them are there near that Spore Crawler.
No
Yamato is done, by the way.
No transfusions on these 3 Queens. 2 of those Queens going to go down. It looks like Maven, Spore, and Queen here.
Yeah,
and he's back. Oh, a lot of damage on that BC. It should just survive, but it does take a lot of damage.
I actually didn't see that second Spore, but I think that's a pretty good addition. Otherwise, this could have been a little bit harder. At the same time, Special is using these Hellions in the middle of the map. Look at the production there. 13 more drones. Special actually in a very good position economically, right? Already 75 SCVs. Tries to take his fort on location. He's like, it seems like you're playing a very passive game. It seems like you're investing a lot in upgrades. Well, I'm just going to take my fort on location.
The BC's here just trying to chase down an Overseer. They unfortunately can't catch it. And Serral going to get some information. Again, like he is very, very good and like clockwork with his scouting. So he's going into the main to see what Special is doing to confirm the follow-up. He knows now 100% without a shadow of doubt that he is up against a lot of mech units, that there is a 4th base, and he needs to come up with a game plan. At the moment, he is making roaches because he has so many Hellions to deal with. And as far as the ground army goes for Serral, it's kind of thin.
But I do like the Ravagers, though. Like, I know the roaches may seem a little bit silly, but roaches are obviously going to be useful against all the other units. But don't underestimate the power of Corrosive Bow on these massive air units. Maynard, I'm not afraid to admit it, I've lost plenty of carriers against Corrosive Bow. Because once those units are neuroparasited, of course you can't control them, and that will allow Serral to land a whole bunch of those Corrosive Bows on those air units.
Seeing Burrow being researched here from Serral could potentially help out roaches and also help out drones if they're being harassed. And he wanted to go for a Ling run by, but Special actually caught it with these Hellions and pushed him back. Special on creep here. The Baneling's looking for nice connections. He kites back. Stuck on the edge there a little bit. Oh, yeah, there's the neural grab. This is what we're talking about. Those BCs aren't going anywhere. They've used their tactical jumps.
Oh, that's smart.
And they cannot go home.
But he does get 1 Yamato up on one of these. Actually, no, Yamato, the other BC. That's pretty sick as well. At the same time, a couple of Zerglings pick up the tanks. 1 battlecruiser did survive that little skirmish, so you can say that's something. But obviously, it can jump away, and it can Yamato right now. Really nice catch by Serral.
And Serral starting to amass a bit of a bank here as he approaches Max with the Hive on the way as well. He's been all about the attack upgrades because that really does help you out against mech. And it's going to be needing Vipers very shortly, so that's what the Hive is for. Hellions going for a run by. They do have Blue Flame attack here, but they don't have any attack upgrades, so they're not actually that strong.
Yeah, the numbers weren't really there, right, for the Hellions. I must say, already extra star points now for Special as well. Obviously, he's rich. He's going up to 5 bases at this point, so he's going to get a pretty sick economy. The Nidus network has been planted down as well.
Oh, that fungal from the high ground! Serral, you monster! So sick. Great catch there from the Finnish Zerg. Oh my god.
He hasn't made a lot of Infestors yet, but the few that he did, they've already paid for themselves, Maynard. How do you land a fungal like that? Come on.
Oh man, using that terrain to the best ability here. And Special's just lost a ton of his army. His presence on this side of the map, his ability to pressure back the creep and all that you want to be doing with Battleneck, it's not here anymore. He doesn't have the unit count. He's just chilling back at home. And it looks like another Neural available on this Infestor as well, but does need to be careful. There is Yamato's here.
Getting Yamato a Ravager, I think. Yes, he does, in the back of that army. First, Nidus goes down near the Zelnaga Watchtower. It's going to spot these BCs, actually, and the BCs are going to see the Nidus as well, so they should be able to take care of it. 2 Spires being planted down now for Zerg.
Now, Special is actually just massing battlecruisers right now. That's all he's doing. And with these upgrades going, he's been just getting ship weapon upgrades and vehicle plating. So he's all about Sky Terran at the moment. He does have a ground army, but it's not what he's attending to. You know, there was a game not too long ago that Serral played on this map against Gumio. You remember? And at one point, Serral just didn't check the side of the side of the map of Gumio for a very long time. And he kind of thought he was playing against a mix of mech units. And then suddenly it was nothing but battlecruisers. And Serral simply lacked the anti-air. The 2 Spires that he has planted down right now give me the feeling that Serral's like, all right, that happened once. I'm going to make sure that doesn't happen again. Fongo and Corrosive Bow. One battlecruiser goes down and the other one barely survives. Tactical jumps out of there, but losing 1 BC does kind of hurt his comp here, which is basically pure battlecruiser. He's squeezing in some Cyclones and Hellions because he has to. He needs to do something to this creep spread and keep Serral not free and clear. Bunch of Locusts coming forward, but that's a lot of battlecruisers. They don't care about Locusts. Nope, a couple of the SCVs will go down though that were underneath it, but obviously the amount of SCVs that Special had, this is not that big of a deal in this phase in the game, and Sarah has plenty of bases. I'd like to see those roaches from Sarah on the south side maybe go behind the mineral lines, because then you can actually still harass the SCVs. He doesn't have high sec, so you can be quite annoying. I mean, even if you did it, I'm pretty sure you can outrange it and mess with that mineral line. Borrowed roaches here. First Corruptors are on their way. Special's doing a good job in shutting down these Nidus networks, though. He keeps on fighting them. There are a couple of roaches that are going to dive on top of this Cyclone, and these Swarmos will still pop out, but the Battlecruisers show up as well. Yeah, and they're going to start cutting through these Locusts here. So yes, Serral does get a few of those mech units. The Locusts want to hit that planetary, but there's not going to be many of them left. The thing is, though, I feel like Serral's keeping Special so busy that Special's not the one who's harassing, and normally Special's so good in picking up drone line after drone line, and Blue Flame Hellion run-bys left, right, and center. And this reminds me a little bit of what happened to Rainer in that final game. Serral is just so aggressive that he doesn't give his opponents time to think about their aggression. Another Nidus denial here. The main fleet of battlecruisers is Special on the south side of the map. Bit of a skirmish to the north side here. Serral finding some damage and pulling back. The Infestors are here as well. That's basically the highest tech part of his army, the most important part of his army. But Corruptors are starting to hit the field. I love this double Spire upgrades here for Serral. He's not going into Greater Spire. He is just going to double upgrade a big ball of Corruptors. One thing we have to mention, though, is that we still have a lot of Roaches, right? We still have plenty of Queens. There's quite a few Ravagers, even a couple of Lynx, Banes. The real anti-air army right now is not massive. And that Battlecruiser count is starting to become very healthy. We currently have 8 Battlecruisers out on the map, as a couple of these Swarmos will go down, and there's 3 more on the way. So this is kind of that phase in the game where Serral really needs a little more anti-air. Well, that's a little bit more anti-air right there. A bunch of Spore Crawlers being made on the edge of this creep here. Serral going to start working on a bit of a Spore Crawler forest in the middle of year 0. Off that barracks.
Bad time to be a barracks man.
I don't know why that's so funny to me, but...
Well, because you don't have to see a barracks flying into 7 Spore Crawlers. I don't blame you for it.
It's been a while since the last time I've seen that. Oh, these Neurals, big fungal as well. Corrosive Biles!
Oh my God.
Oh. Serral is ridiculous.
Oh my goodness. I mean, a couple of these BCs do make the short jump as well. Corruptors, is the Corruptor count high enough to take out the other ones? More Corrosive Biles are going to connect with a few of these BCs. I mean, it's amazing that these 3 are still alive, actually, but Special needs to max out, right? He needs to keep those super expensive units alive, and Serral's getting some juicy trades. Nice Liberator here in the bottom left of the map is, I guess, the glass full situation for Special. He is doing damage to the economy of Serral, but Serral is definitely in the advantage right now, getting rid of some tanks. He can afford to lose some drones. It's not the biggest of deals. And like you said, the plan here for Special is to get 3-3 upgrades for his big battlecruiser fleet, just like Gumiho did when he defeated Serral on this map in I Am Katowice. But it's just been a real hard trek here, a real hard journey for Special to get there. Yep. He has already lost 6 battlecruisers in this game, and that's a unit you're just not supposed to lose. You can maybe lose 1 or 2 by accident, or one of these Neurals stealing 1. But 6, while you're only hovering at 160, 170 supply for the majority of it. But hey, Serral's still making Lynx, Serral's still making Banelings. I absolutely do not want to make it sound like Special's out of this game. It feels like Serral domination, and I think it's kind of has been. But hey, Special still has a lot of battlecruisers, and he's adding in even more. And with a couple of Yamatos and maybe avoiding those neuroparasites, there is absolutely some hope here for our Mexican Terran player.
These Cyclones getting caught here. They did do their job though. They picked off a lot of those swarm hosts. Hellions coming forward to try and deal with that link out. Tries for a fungal, gets the oh my god, that's so many banelings. That planetary is toast.
It's like really wanted to get the refinery as well.
Take that refinery. Oh, lots of Yamatos here. Those trades for special actually quite good.
Yep, I mean, that was expensive. That's exactly what I mean. Cerro still didn't really have the dream anti-air army. Just lost a whole bunch. A few of these banelings are still alive. Yeah, you can actually, I wouldn't say roll them in, but there were 2 tanks on the left side, so only a few additional SCVs went down there. Hey, Special really fighting back in the last minute of this game.
Yeah.
He's not been bleeding out battle cruisers anymore. Losing the PF, yeah, that stings a little bit, but that wasn't cheap for Cerro either. He used a lot of banelings to get that done.
I feel like Cerro's gaining ground, actually. Like, that was a lot of resources there for Cerro. He does have a bank, but it's not incredible. If Cerro takes a bad fight to a maxed out Terran, it's hard for him to get a big, scary second wave army.
Yep, and these BCs, I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that, right, for the Terran player. Adding a few Liberators here and there. There are still a couple of defensive tanks remaining, but Cerro was the one who was up in supply, and he had a bunch of money in the bank. Suddenly, that's not really the case anymore. It's important, of course, Special lives off that command center, but he does in the end. A couple of these Hellions going down. That's not the biggest of deals. The sensor now getting picked off is nice. I don't think that this is going to be able to morph into a planetary, even though the Hellions are maybe here to save the day.
Yeah, Hellions doing a nice job here, even without any attack upgrades, still getting rid of those Lings. Tanks also covering here. Cyril running by Lings every which way. He knows that they're not going to be great in a stand-up fight here, especially considering most of the army of Special is in the air. Oh, the Infestors here sharking Roddy. They're getting close. They have the Corruptors with them as well. Cyril looking like he wants to pick a fight.
And it's important that the next fight is going good for Cyril, though. Like you said, he has spent most of that bank, and yeah, he got some done with it, but this is not an army that our Finnish Zerg can afford to lose. A couple of tanks are very exposed. They're left by themselves. Where are those BCs going, Manny?
I guess they're heading towards Cyril's base. They want to start killing hatcheries and killing static defense. This is so risky, though. He does have tactical jump, so he can always just shoot home after killing a hatchery.
More and more BCs on their way. The Corruptor's about to show up. A couple of battlecruisers low on HP, by the way. Be very careful with it. Cyril still denying expense on the other side of the map. Year Zero living up to the hype again, Maynard. What a cool game already.
Yeah, and a glorious map and a glorious TVC for Game 1 of the Grand Final. Yamato's getting quite a few of those Corruptors, and then Special just bounces back home to get rid of what remains of the ground army there for Cyril.
Yeah, nothing crucial went down for the attack of Cerro. He still has most of the buildings that he truly needs. But hey, Cerro no longer maxed out at the moment. He's getting all the upgrades. Even his Lings are super strong, right? He's got crazy upgrades on pretty much everything. Still getting those extra air upgrades as well. But Special is like, you know what? As long as I get one more base up and running, I'm just going to babysit my battlecruisers properly. And if I can avoid those neuroparasites and a massive fungal in the corrosive balls, they can absolutely take care of those Corruptors.
This is something that I've only ever really seen Cyril do at these big tournament matches, is he gets extra layers up to get more hit points on his command structures, these hatcheries and layers and hives. Way more hit points, so they can actually deal with a lot more damage from, say, the battle cruisers if there's a stand-up fight. Won't lose those production facilities. And here we go, just a small Roach Ravager army for Cyril, being a little bit annoying. Special avoiding the edge of the creep here. Losing the battlecruiser fleet means GG. There's those fungals, there's those murals. Special is stuck fighting here. A lot of his units aren't actually in the battle. He turns and fights though. 3-3 upgrades on these battlecruisers. Can he actually cut through these Corruptors? It doesn't look good for Special. He's losing a lot of army supply.
A couple of the infested Terrans helping out as well from underneath. There was a Sport Crawler helping out, but there are still a couple battlecruisers remaining. But Special supply has plummeted. He once again lost a lot. Look at the SCVs. No, don't repair the Alien. Repair the big boy. He needs it way more.
I think they were on auto repair, Roddy. A mistake from Special. His BCs get out of harm's way, but now Cyril has got free reign of this planetary if he wants to caustic spray it.
Yeah, but now Cyril is once again investing in a couple of those other units to take care of those buildings. Obviously a phenomenal fight for Cyril. I was kind of worried, I'm not going to lie. I thought the infested count maybe wasn't really there. There we do have that ability of the Corruptors, and that damage, nobody out repairs that.
Absolutely not. You're just delaying the inevitable at that point. Ling's also trying to run by here. Cyril always hitting in several places at once. And Special, once again, just trying to get as many upgraded air units as he can, but he can't really do it anymore. He doesn't have the minerals.
Nope, still has plenty of command centers and orbitals scattered around the map. But you're right. I mean, the BCs are so expensive. It's not a unit where you can simply, it's like, oh, okay, I'm maxed out. I should have a bank for 6 or 7 more. No, you just don't have that. You simply do not have that. And Zero has done a really good job that despite the fact he never feels that rich, he's always close to maxed out. And then whenever he loses a couple of units, he does have the money again to replace those units.
Oh. It just feels like the Terran has to be so passive here and just try and take good trades wherever he can. That's never a comfortable situation. He wants to be out there on the map, picking off hatcheries, doing damage, Hellion run-bys, that sort of thing. There are a lot of vulnerable bases, but Cyril is always on top of the army here for Special. Gets a fungal on the Hellions as well. Pushes him way back. Forces another command center, which Special desperately needs to be mining here for him. Got to get that BC fleet up. It's just dead.
Yeah, it's either the Roaches or the Corruptors,
yeah,
right?
Choose your death.
Yep. There's a couple of links really working on that one orbital that's now burning down as well. Would be awesome if Special could maybe repair it. Special still got an army, guys. I know it doesn't look pretty, and I know it feels like Zero domination, but he still has over 100 army supply. He's got a lot of battle cruisers. The infestor count is at 9. Yes, that's good, but if Special can get a good engagement on those infestors, there is absolutely hope for Special to take a convincing victory in a big battle, but he needs Zero to mess up.
He might get one infested here with a lock on the Cyclone. That's nice. Does get a fungal there on the Cyclones. That fungal not as consequential as the earlier ones. Here he comes. This might be the last fight in the game. More Neurals, more Corruptors, more fungals, and Special.